Guys, it's time for another Awaken Chaos Era video. Today, we are mostly going to discuss the Queen of Tides dungeon, the mechanics on the dungeon, and potential good units for hitting that dungeon, as well as we'll briefly glance over the, that doesn't sound very appealing. We'll discuss, there's only 3 gear sets from that, because the gear sets are spread across multiple dungeons. I'm assuming that over the course of time, they'll add more gear sets to all of these dungeons instead of just having 3 for each of them, but they may just add more dungeons. They're probably not going to add more. They're probably just going to add more gear sets. Anyway, also, we will kind of recap. We've just been doing the hero development. We've been doing what else? Master of the Elements. We've just been doing this little by little, just chipping away at it. We got the rookie event. We just got the unit. I accidentally clicked on it. I get click crazy, guys. So we accidentally clicked on it. Let's take a look at this, this Nyla. I actually have not taken a look at her at all yet. She kind of looks like the free one from, I mean, she's not the same unit. She kind of reminds me vaguely of the unit from, a reimagining of the, Pinko, which unit? You just keep saying with the unit. The thing from Genshin. The thing that we get from Genshin. So we got this Frozen. A third chance to apply Frozen to the target for 1 turn. 10% per negative effect on the target. And then we have this one, Defense Break. We have this one, 80% damage to the enemy. If the enemy is affected by a negative effect, grants a shield on this character for 2 turns. And then we have AoE, 80% damage. Damage scales with the number of negative effects affecting this. I don't really get too excited about her, to be honest. Maybe I'm not seeing her true potential or something, but, you know, her speed is not that great. A lot of times I like the speed. Wow, the speed in this game is so all over the place. Like, some units are crazy fast. Some units are not very fast at all. So I wonder if that's going to be a problem down the road, having such a massive difference in speed on these units. But yeah, it doesn't look from first glance. You know, some units you don't really think are that special at first glance, and then they wind up being super amazing. So let's go on to, we're going to do 10-8, and then we're going to go to, I always click that wrong. That little magnifying glass. No. I always want to go back. That's what I'm saying. I click it wrong. I want to go back. And do, yeah, we're gonna do, where is 10? 10 is right next to 2, which is exactly this exactly where I would have guessed it would be. Okay, so we're gonna go for King of Lasir. We'll see what kind of gear we get from that, and we will. I think we're just gonna use the same. I really want, like, these are 2 support units. They're kind of not quite redundant, a little tiny bit redundant, but yeah, I kind of want something else instead of Virgil right here, but we'll see if we can beat it with this. If we can't beat it with this, we'll try a different strategy, and we'll go from there. And I will see you when we get the gear, and hopefully it's some good stuff, so we can put it on. We really need a second damage dealer now. So, yeah, I'll see you in a little bit. So, using the units that we had, we could not just cheese through it with, like, no gear or anything. So, we're just bringing, the unit that we have is one of our friend's reps. It's not really the right unit for the job, it just is a damage dealing unit, so it has stats. So when he dies, he prevents his own death. He gives himself a shield, and then he has these stacks of death prevention. So if you just hit him multiple times, the stacks of death prevention will just go away, and then you can kill him. However, usually in the meantime, he winds up killing you before you can do that. So we're just using a friend rep that has stats of any kind. Not that it's necessarily the greatest unit for the job. I think if you just have like a attack power break and beneficial effect block or strip or multi-hits, like plenty of hits, and enough damage on the units, because we are using 4-star units. These units are, Connor's 4-star, as you can see. Oh, Joseph is 5-star, my bad. I was like, no, the other unit that we were trying to use was a 4-star unit that we took out. Right? So, of course, if they were 5-star units, if they had higher glyph upgrades, then we could just cheese through. I mean, these units are not even max level, so, I mean, obviously you can see why, or maybe it's not so obvious, but that's why we are not able to beat it with the stuff that we had, because the unit that we were using is just a damage dealing unit. It's not like it has mechanics that specifically counter the boss, so yeah, it was just that it does damage, so anything can really replace that one. What do we have for here? So we have Rage Set. This is one of the things that we're supposed to be, one of the quests is equip a Rage Set and upgrade it to plus. Upgrading it to plus 12, since we have nothing to upgrade it with, is going to be the challenge now. But at least we have another set of 4 pieces of gear for our second damage dealer, which is the next unit that we have to build. So, hooray! Continued in the next chapter. Okay, I wonder if they're going to add more to this story. Admittedly, I was not really paying that much attention to the story. I'm sorry. But I also don't pay attention to the story in in many other games. What did I even pay attention to? I kind of pay attention. Oh, of course. And this is just god tier stuff. For legendary, even if it's not god tier stuff, at this level of the game, this is god tier stuff. Oh, we don't even get to see much of what it is. But yeah, at this level of the game, like at the very beginning, that just gives you an insta increase in stats. And any of these packs, I don't want to say like buy the packs, but any of these packs early game are going to make things fly by so much faster than if you bought the same pack like a year into playing the game. You're like, oh, this is just stuff that I already have. It's like, it's a totally different experience. That's why people are buying these now or sooner rather than later. Oh my god. So we've almost beat 10,000 enemies. And we still aren't, we have 1 6-star in that max level. All those enemies we beat. Okay, so let's go take a look at the dungeons. We're going to take a look at the Queen of Tides dungeon. So we have not fought this at all. Like, hold on. You're going to give input on the Queen of Tides dungeon you have not fought at all. Well, because based on other games, now I have to validate and justify. Based on other games, you can see the mechanics here, and you can see, okay, we need this debuffs, we need this buffs, we need to approach it in this certain direction. So one of the things that I want to mention here is that based on the stage that you're going through, she has more skills. So this is not like one of those games where like the dungeons have the same skills throughout the course of the entire run of the dungeon. They just have better stats. She actually has different skills. So we see over here, Blessing of Empress grants a random Blessing of the Goddess effect at the end of the turn. Tort damages the enemy, steals one of their positive effects. Stifling Aqua Cage summons a Stifling Aqua Cage, disables movement on a random enemy for 2 turns. Tsunami summons a Tsunami to damage all enemies. Attack deals plus 10% damage for positive effect on this character, right? So she is a boss that likes to have a lot of beneficial effects. She'll steal yours. She'll grant her own. She has these minions. I don't think that this enemy is launching bonus special attack, deals damage. So when we go on to like level 12 of this dungeon, one of the other allies that fights alongside of her will also give her an attack buff. So one of them gives her an attack buff. One of them heals her. We can take a look at that right now. We can go over here. And we can see Random Blessing of the Goddess. If the character is buffed by a positive effect, launches a bonus attack with Dragon Bomb, damages an enemy, steals their positive effects. Stifling Aqua Cage, disables movement. Over here, we got the Water Whip, damages all enemies, grants this character a Water Shield. This scales with a number of positive effects affecting this character. Tsunami summons a Tsunami, damage all enemies. Attack deals plus 10% damage per positive effect on this character. If the Conch Blade is defeated, then the attack deals plus 30% damage per positive effect. So this is all about doing a lot of damage, or not even a lot of damage. This is all about her having a lot of positive effects. So if you have things, first off, the straight away, the easiest, most obvious thing is like, if you just kill her fast, then she just dies fast with all of this other stuff happening. So let's be just completely transparent that you could just go for a speedy damage dealer, kill everything team. So that is one strategy. Another strategy is to try to make sure that she has like block beneficial effects or steal beneficial or strip beneficial effects. Try to make sure she has as little as beneficial effects as possible, and all of your units have some kind of synergy to remove her beneficial effects. I also mentioned this is, I think, just the same thing. Deals damage to an enemy, deals damage to all enemies, attack up to the boss for 2 turns. And then this one has heals the boss for 30% health. So if you have like a heal block, if you have attack power break, if you have slows, just any debuffs that, because I don't think that there's any cleanse. If I recall correctly, there's no cleanse on here. So you can do a bunch of debuffs to the boss. Is more effective than buffing the crap out of your team, because she's just going to steal the buffs anyway. I mean, you could still buff your team, just be aware that she's going to steal it. So stripping things, giving her a lot of harmful effects is going to be the way to go here. Let's also take a look at, and we want to take a look at her what do we want to take a look at? We want to take a look at the gear that drops here. So we have the Warrior set plus 15 attack. That's fairly straightforward. The Curse set, this is like Violent Runes, guys. After attacking, there's a 50% chance to launch, with 50% chance though, launch a bonus attack using this character's basic ability though. Can be triggered once per turn. And then we have the Revival set, which is a it's kind of misleading because it's not a revival. It restores 10% max health. It's like a regen set more than a revival set. 10% max health at the start of the turn, or 20% if under 50% health, which actually, based on the fact that she does one of the things to your team. She does the thing to your team. Listen, guys, I don't remember the exact skill name, okay? I'm sure you don't remember it either. But she does one of these. So this is actually, okay, the Aqua Cage. Damage equal to 25% of the target's max health per turn of the duration of Stifling Aqua Cage. So I feel like that might actually be good. That set might actually be good for this dungeon as well. But let's take a look at some different units that are going to be potentially strong. So most of the appealing units for the Queen of Tides dungeon come from Lasir, Sylvan Woodlands, and Dragonscale Marsh. Based on just my, I was going through and reviewing all of the different units in here, and I was like, oh, this looks like it would be good there. This looks like it could be there. Based on number one, I'm trying to focus on things that have element advantage, and also trying to not be like, oh, by the way, guys, this LD legendary is really good there. You're like, yeah. How does that help me? I don't have that LD legendary, so I guess that's not really a thing. If you have some LD legendaries, they may be good there, but we're really not going to talk too much about them right now. So, yeah, Lasir, Sylvan Woodlands, and Dragonscale Marsh. There's other ones and other things, but let's actually talk about the other ones and the other things first. So we have Free Cities. This is actually a pretty nasty unit. We summoned him the other day, and I was like, oh, he does a lot of poison. I don't even know if I took a look at him on video, but he does a lot of poison, like a lot of poison. So he's got this passive, corrosive venom to all enemies currently affected by poison, grants 20% launch chance of launching a bonus attack with unhealable against enemies affected by poison for 2 turns, which is very nice against, because I mean the dungeon Queen of Tides heals, right? So that's already, we're off to a good start. And he has element advantage. 100% damage to an enemy, 30% chance to apply poison and focus down. So 2 debuffs. We talked about debuffs being strong there. 150% chance to damage to an enemy, applies poison to the target, etc., etc. Splash damage. And then we have this one, 200% damage, and detonates all of their poison effects. So this one and you could run a poison team or you could run a damage team. Poison team, Genjello is going to be strong for a poison team as well. There are a few different, there's another one that's a fusion unit that's, sorry, not fusion, synthesis unit that's got the same mechanics. I believe she's got, we'll take a look at her in a second. But she's actually, she doesn't have element advantage because she's a water unit. But yeah, that is the one worth noting in here. Next one that I want to note is, now this one is kind of controversial because a lot of people seem to not like him, but I think that this unit is going to be, look at his speed, his S-tier speed, man, S-tier speed. So he's got element advantage. He is a legendary though, but you know, we'll just talk about him quickly. He's got this is more for a damage dealing team, not for a poison team. This is more for like a fast aggressive team, like super speedy nuke. 50% damage to an enemy attack, has a 30% chance to ignore 50% target defense and grant 10 speed. Then we have 100% damage. Oh, he actually does do poison, right? I forgot about that. 30% chance to extra poison for 2 turns and 10% speed. And then we have 300% damage to a random selection of enemies. Damage scales with the character's speed. So all speed-based damage. We're going to also discuss something that is fairly easy. Actually, I think she is very easy to get. That does a speed buff and attack buff as well. So you guys already know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think that he's actually potentially going to be a pretty decent unit for Queen of Tides. Even though people seem to not like him, but I think that he's pretty cool looking. Not pretty cool looking. Pretty cool skills look pretty cool for that dungeon. Then we have, we did. Oh, I mentioned Genjello from Soul Plunderers, which is a unit that I had on my account in the beta. He's got super S tier health, but he's more for a poison-based team, right? So if you're running a poison-based team with Gajar, I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce his name, but this is going to be a super crazy poison unit as well. And then this is also another big thing to note. 100% damage to all enemies, applies poison for 2 turns. If the enemy is affected by poison, applies no positive effects for 2 turns. So this is like a cheat code. This is like a cheat code for that dungeon. That looks like a potentially nasty team that, of course, the whale's going to be like, oh, cool, I got this, I got that. I'm going to run a B12 and have this dungeon completed in the first week. Man, I'm kind of jealous, but it is a free to play, pay to win game. So, of course, that's the situation. That's the situation that we signed up for. And then there's all these mobile games. So, Lasir has a couple different units. This is kind of like he's another one that's like a speed-based damage dealer. Kind of like Gubeg, he doesn't do the poison and stuff. Whenever an enemy with speed lower than this character's attack, the 50% chance for this character to counterattack, 100% chance. Also, he does it slow, if I recall correctly. Damage skills with this character's speed. So he's just a fast, aggressive damage dealer. And he combo with another unit that we're going to talk about in a second. 100% damage to all enemies with 75% chance to apply speed down, which is going to help him do more damage with this skill, right? And then we have 200% damage to an enemy if this enemy's speed is lower than this character's speed, nor is 50% of the enemy's defense. So he does also combine, like he makes sense with himself. He lowers the speed, and then he does extra stuff based on if he's faster than the enemies. Also, he has an S rank speed, which is pretty crazy. But this is more for a speed nuke team with the speed and attack power buffer that we're going to discuss in a second. I know you guys already know all about it. You guys are like, I know what's coming. I know what you're going to talk about. I know what unit. We have Sinbreaker, ignores all of the, vents. So, oh, you guys can't even see the names. You guys can't see the names because my face is in front of them. Actually, my face is not in any good spot. His name is Vance. Right? Okay, there we go. But I'm saying their names anyway. I hate my face sometimes, guys. I hate it as much as you do. Okay, so we have this guy. Ignores all the enemy's positive effects. Damage increased by 20% if the enemy has a positive effect, which he's going to have a lot of positive effects, right? And then we have element advantage also. 100% damage to an enemy applies attack down for 1 turn. We said that it's going to be great to apply debuffs to her. 100% damage to an enemy and duplicates all of their positive effects onto this character. That could be beneficial if she's got a lot of positive effects. 200% damage to an enemy. Damage increases by 20% for every positive effect on the enemy. Another thing, you know, she's got a lot of positive effects. This unit is going to be great against that. Also, another thing to note about... I was expecting a pop-up. Another thing to note about this is... Oh, no, I was in the right spot. Hero synthesis. So this is a unit that you can synthesize. So everyone has access to this, even if they are not super crazy whale. This is another unit that we're going to talk about as well. So let us go back to the index. And we also have... Maybe I should... make this a little bit faster because we just keep yapping. This is actually, which is the one that I want to, there's another one. Oh, this one. So doesn't the game give this to you at the very beginning? So this is an interesting one as well that I want to, her name is Freya. We have a valid hits, defense down. Okay, it's a 100% chance over there. And then we have launches 2 strikes, dealing 80% total damage. Each strike has 50% chance to apply speed down for 2 turns. Okay, so 2 debuffs. We said debuffs are very strong. 120% damage to an enemy launches joint attack with a random ally. And then this one, 200% damage to an enemy applies unhealable and no positive effects for 2 turns. And I think this is actually going to be very strong for her. Unhealable, one of those boss helper things, will heal the boss, right? And then no positive effects is going to be super strong. Keep in mind that if you have something, like if you combo this with a Vance, that's kind of countering itself, though. So you kind of might want to do one or the other. If you have no positive effects, and then Vance is going to come in here and he's going to be like, yeah, I'm doing extra damage for positive effects and duplicating positive effects. It's like that kind of nerfs him. So keep that in mind. And then we have, let's go on to the next one. We have, I'm working on a spreadsheet also to keep track of all the different units in the game and where they're strong and where they're, and all their stuff. It's going to take a while to actually finish the spreadsheet. But, yeah, I think that this is Antinua. Yeah, Antinua. Okay, so this is another one. This is just for fast, aggressive damage. This is not for, like... Someone decided they wanted to go very, very fast outside my window. I don't know if you guys even heard that or not because the microphone's pointing away from it. But she's just more of a fast, speedy, aggressive damage-dealing unit. She has her Unicorn Blessing, I want to say Unicorn form. She does not have a Unicorn form. Unicorn Blessing at the start of battle. Attacks inflict 30% extra damage, reduces damage taken by 30%. And she just has element advantage, and she does a lot of damage. She just does a lot of fast damage is what you'd want to do here. So it's not anything too crazy. It's not like countering the mechanics of the dungeon specifically. It's just for a fast damage-dealing team. And she works decently with that's not the one that I was going to talk about. There's some other units that I'm not going to talk about today that are good here. I just want to mention a lot of the things that I'm mentioning have element advantage to the boss. But this is the one, Windstrex is the one that you guys are probably, that I kept mentioning. I'm like, oh, the attack power buffer and speed buffer, right? So we have this. When you're using an ability, there's a, let's talk about just the Ascension, the Ascended one, because I keep mentioning these ones, like the unascended traits. The Ascended trait, when using an ability, so like if you feed dupes of her and you ascend it to a higher level, then you unlock the Ascended trait. When you're using an ability, there's a 100% chance to reduce its basic cooldown by 1 turn, may only be triggered twice per battle. We have this speed down, which is going to be nice. We talked about debuffs, right? So she is, if you're coming from Summoners, we'll kind of think of this like a Bernard situation-ish. Well, not really Bernard. She does speed buff, she does attack power buff, and she does a speed down on the enemies. So she increases the amount of turns that your team can take versus any other opponent. So she's just going to be a great support unit overall. This refreshes the cooldown of an ally's ultimate ability, which is potentially pretty strong. Also, not a bad cooldown on that. And then we have the Roaring Gale. Speed up to and attack up to all team members for 2 turns. She's just a great support unit overall. There's not, like, you're going to find many uses for her, not just in this dungeon. I would definitely recommend. Oh, she is an epic. She's not, I thought that she was actually easier. No. It's the other one that was easier to get. Oh, right, because she's on the lower tier, lols. I don't know. Maybe that's why I thought she was elite and not epic. But yeah, okay. So I thought she was, I guess we just wound up summoning her at some point. Right, the game doesn't give her to you, does she? Does it? So that's kind of unfortunate. I actually did think that she was an elite. That's sad. What do we have for the, I think we just have a couple more. Okay. Is she here? Yeah, oh, she is here. Okay, so this is another one that is a, I don't know, it's not fusion. It's a synthesis unit. Is Savannah. Boom, 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 boom. Legendary synthesis unit. She has element advantage, and she's more of just a damage dealing unit. She's got S tier attack power, and she's got good crit rate as well. Upon death, grants 50% of the character's attack to a random ally. I want to see like what this. Never mind. 100% of this character's attack. We mentioned her in the other video though. She just gives attack to other allies, and then she's just a big damage dealing unit. It's not really that she does like specifically counters the stuff. She's mostly for fast damage. Reduces character's ability cooldowns. I think that this is also, yeah, and then she also does crit damage up, 200% damage, reduces character's cooldowns. But she starts the battle with increased cooldowns already, unfortunately. So 300% damage to an enemy grants revenge, which is stackable. Also unremovable. At the start of battle, this ability's cooldown is I hope that unremovable also means that the boss can't, because the boss will steal things. So I hope that it also means that the boss can't steal it. But we'll see what the devs actually wind up doing. But yeah, she's just there for a lot of damage. For like a damage dealing team. That would be with Windstrex. And then we also have Zat Lux as well. So this is another one. People are really loving this unit. People are using the crap out of this unit. He's an epic unit, so you have more access to him. But he's just there for more damage, right? Just damage, just fast damage. 100% damage to the enemy grants speed up to this character for 1 turn. We have this, upon defeating an enemy, resets all of this character's cooldowns, grants attack up for 1 turn. And then we have 30% crit rate and 30% precision. And then we have 200% damage to an enemy plus bonus damage. Fewer enemies remaining, the higher the bonus damage. But this is just a damage dealer. This is just like a damage dealer with element advantage. He doesn't really counter the boss's mechanics. This is just something that people are using a lot, so I figured I would mention this for like a fast, aggressive damage dealer team, and this would go well with like Windstrex also. So I'm kind of excited about the poison teams. I don't quite have all the units for the poison teams, but I think that that's what I'll probably try to do. So and maybe we'll try a free-to-play friendly. Oh my god. Is free-to-play friendly even going to be a thing in this game like 6 months from now? I'm scared. I don't know if I want to know the answer to that. But anyway, I just wanted to mention there's other ones as well, but I just wanted to mention some of the things that are worth noting for the Queen of Tides dungeon. So of course, after I finish the video, I find another great unit for this. So we are here in Soul Plunderers, and I was taking a look at the different things that I had, and I found Hulins. His name is Hulins. And he's an elite unit, right? He's an elite unit, which is great because that means you can ascend him fairly easily. He is a dark unit. Attacks have so this is his trait. Attacks have a 100% chance after it's ascended. Super easy to ascend him. 100% chance to apply no positive effects to the target for 1 turn. So basically just counter. I mean, it's only 1 turn, right? But basically just counters the whole mechanics of what she does immediately. And then we have 80% chance, 80% damage to an enemy with an 80% chance to apply unhealable for 2 turns. Yet another counter. Then we have also poison. 150% damage to an enemy applies poison for 2 turns. I'm just going to keep, even after the video is done, I'm just going to keep finding more and more great units for this dungeon. So if I missed some, guys, I just want to mention, if I missed some, I will have missed some, and we will talk about them in future videos. Be like, oh, guys, we found this other, like either I found or some of you guys might find some of these other really great units for this dungeon. But yeah, we have duplicates all negative effects affecting them onto a random enemy, affecting Hulans. So yeah, just the fact that he works great in poison teams and he counters the beneficial effects that they're going to have, and he also counters the heal block. This is a fantastic unit for this dungeon. I think he's going to be a fantastic unit actually for multiple dungeons. I feel like this is going to be one of those units that you can just build and use in multiple places. Because again, block beneficial effects, there's going to be other dungeons that this is going to be effective in. We got poison, which is, you know, if you're running a poison team, which a lot of times, if people are early in any game, any mobile gacha game, and they're doing free to play, like poison is pretty strong because you don't have the stats to go fast, aggressive damage dealers. So you're like, okay, well, if I have poison, then I don't have to worry about like I need to worry about the attack, crit damage, crit rate. All I need is speed and some kind of accuracy. You know, they call them different things in different games. Speed, accuracy, and actually just landing the poison. So it's not the fastest team, but it is generally pretty effective strategy. But anyway, just wanted to mention this guy, and we're gonna find more. I know we're gonna find more. I know I missed some, I'm sure, but I just wanted to mention those things for the dungeon. Anyway, that's it for this one. I'm really going this time. See you as always in the next one.